Hello, hello. Good morning to the listening public. Good morning to the diaspora, St. Kitts and Nevis. Good morning, Azard. Good morning, Jamster. Good morning to everyone listening to the sound of our voice this morning. This is Island Tea, our issue for the 15th of March 2024, and the day that some of our music festival acts will be revealed. I know people are waiting in anticipation. Some people are gonna, well, is it gonna be revealed?
Well, they say today, and good morning to everybody. I wish to say blessed morning. I hope that everyone is doing quite well this morning. Yes, today is supposed to be the reveal of the artists for the music festival. And I know persons are waiting, they're anticipating this reveal.
Are they gonna have something at a particular location, Azad? Do you know, or is it just gonna be online?
Well, I usually follow from the releases online,
Okay.
so I personally I don't have that information. I
Okay.
usually follow from
No problem.
releases online.
Okay.
Yes, and so they are going to be releasing the artists, and I know persons are going to be waiting to see whether or not their artist of choice has been selected, has been selected for the St. Kitts Music Festival. I mean. Yes, and so we're going to hear from the general public. I'm sure but as soon as they're released, you're going to see all the information of the opinion of others. You'll see the opinion of others in circulation as soon as it's released.
But do you see the fact that people are assuming or guessing? Let me say guessing. Who is coming? I wonder if they have got some information, under the table so that they can hype up everybody else. Because the fact that these people are assuming, most times, I've seen that their assumptions are right. Boy, oh boy.
Persons have been making the comment that, they're hoping that it's not another Jamaican music festival.
Oh, boy.
So persons
boy.
have been making that comment, and so we wait and see what the organizers have in store for those persons who, come to the music festival annually in anticipation for the various acts. And I think they had said that there's going to be a gospel night to it as well this year.
I don't think it's part of the festival. I think it's some of the activities, because remember, it starts from the 22nd. So that might be one of the activities, but no. Gospel night is should I say absolutely? In music festival. Yeah, that was the last night, and I find that was poorly attended. I went a couple, and I was like, boy, oh boy, but the other nights were ram packed.
Yes.
All the way up to the what do you call those? Oh no, I don't. It's not guardrails. What's the correct name for them? Oh my gosh.
What do you mean all the way up to
the rails? All the way up to the. The rails that they use to prevent the patrons from getting on the stage, although they don't really prevent anybody from doing anything.
Because they get on once they want to.
They get where they need to get. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just for a mention, the Vibes Cartel. I have an article here, and I don't know. There's an article here as well on my phone, and it's Vice Cartel Jamaican dancehall stars murder conviction overturned, and so it's from this one is from the BBC, and it is basically speaking to what the judgment from the Privy Council just yesterday. I know a lot of persons were looking at that, and it says Jamaica dancehall artist Vibes Cartel conviction for murder has been overturned. The 48-year-old was given a life sentence in 2014 for the killing of Clive Lizard Williams on the Caribbean island. His successful appeal, heard by the Privy Council in London, argued that a juror accused of trying to bribe others should have been thrown off his trial. Authorities in Jamaica will decide whether the case should be retried. The musician, real name Adidja Palmer, is one of Jamaica's most popular artists and has collaborated with performers such as Jay-Z and Rihanna. His 64-day trial was one of the longest in Jamaican history, and ended with Vybz Kartel being ordered to serve a minimum of 35 years in jail. This was later reduced to 32 and a half years. The trial heard that victim Clive Williams and another, Lamar Chow, were given 2 unlicensed firearms belonging to Kartel for safekeeping. When they failed to return them at the agreed time, prosecutors said they were summoned to Kartel's house in August 2011. Chow told the trial that they were attacked, and the last thing he saw was Clive Williams, who he never saw alive again, lying motionless on the ground. The house burned down days after, and the body was never recovered. Kartel and his co-accused Sean Campbell had maintained their innocence since the original trial. The appeal hearing last month before the Privy Council, which serves as the highest court of appeal in Jamaica and the other Commonwealth countries, as their last chance to reverse the verdict. Delivering the Council's ruling, a panel of justices said that a juror accused of attempting to bribe fellow jury members was not removed. The judge let them remain on the case and have a say in the final verdicts. Allowing this juror to stay, the council said, was fatal to the safety of the convictions which followed, and an infringement of the defendant's fundamental right to a fair hearing. The men had also argued that jurors were sent to reach a verdict late in the day, putting them under undue pressure to do so. They had also argued that a key piece of mobile phone evidence, a text message alleging that Carter's phone presented in the court had been obtained in breach of the guidelines. However, the panel did not rule on these matters, finding that the allegations of bribery alone were serious enough to dismiss guilty verdicts. Vybz Kartel is known worldwide for his hits including Clark's, Ramping Shop, and Summertime, and his success has led to him launching lines of shoes, alcohol, and condoms. The singer also became the first dancehall artist to star in his own reality show, Teacher's Pet. Yes.
I'm looking at this here, and they say nobody was found for the guy that was killed. And I also see in this particular article where it says that there was something on Mr. Kartel's phone back then that basically said Williams had been chopped up. Williams had been chopped up in a mincemeat, so fine his remains would never be located.
Wow. Yeah.
Is this? Well, the police said they retrieved that from Kartel's phone, saying that. Because a body was never found.
Yeah, a body was never found.
And he was convicted on the trial of the second person that managed to survive?
Well, that person, no. The second person who survived would have given evidence.
Evidence, yes. That's what I'm asking. So maybe that's how he was convicted?
Well, they would have listened to all the evidence, and then the jurors would have made a final decision based on the evidence and convict him. The difficulty is that, they're saying that one of the jurors were bribing the other members of the jury. And
to come back with what? A not guilty verdict?
In the favor of the accused. Okay. So it's very a ticklish situation. But the Privy Council said that allowing that juror to remain there would have been prejudicial, because then it could cause other members to see him unfavorably and not listen to the entirety of the evidence, on the assumption that maybe it is that this juror was acting on his behalf, something like that. You know what I mean? So it's very... So a retrial is now to be determined by the Jamaicans. The DPP will have to handle that situation. And if you look at it, it says that was one of the longest trial in Jamaican history. And I could imagine the pressure placed on the state to return to ensure that everything goes well in terms of the trial, the DPP, the prosecution, because the prosecution, I always say, the prosecution has their task at hand. The prosecution has to be near perfect in terms of the way in which they deliver the evidence, in the way in which they recover the evidence, because at the end of the day, it's left on the jury to make a decision, and the jury has to make a decision based on a very high threshold. The threshold is beyond a reasonable doubt. So if you have any doubt, you ought to return a verdict that is not guilty. If you have any doubt that this individual is the individual who has committed the crime. And so I always say, for the prosecution, they have really the task at hand, because the prosecution has a duty to disclose to the court and to the defense counsel what they're going to use. So they have a duty of disclosure. So all that they're going to present to the court, they have to first present that to not the prosecution, the defense. And so the defense would be aware of what the prosecution is coming with. And of course, it is in that way because he who alleges must prove. So if you if you're coming and saying that I did this, then you must prove that I did it, and it's for me to defend myself. And so the structures and parameters are there to ensure that there is I want to say that justice prevails. You understand? And the whole idea of a jury is to be tried by a panel of your peers, persons who would understand the situations, persons who are familiar with the society, persons who are familiar with how things work, and to give the community a sort of, what I want to say, a sense of belonging into the court system, where they feel welcome and a part of the court system, because they too are a part of the process to give the verdict at the end of the day. And you know what the Privy Council also said was that, unlike the UK that has laws that would assure that if such a situation had happened in the UK, they could have removed the jury and have it been carried out by trial by the judge. And that isn't in the legislation for Jamaica. Yes. Yes. I think we are similar to our counterparts. Yes. So
who's responsible for the retrial now that the
DPP
UK?
is the office. The DPP is the office of the DPP. So
the government of Jamaica has to pay for that? Would Vibes Cartel have to pay his attorney now?
Well, he'd have to pay his attorneys again.
Okay.
And I mean, if they do thing, they would have to reconsider everything. The DPP's office is the office that is in charge for prosecution, and so the DPP, and I couldn't just imagine the pressure that. Because you think about it, persons here are bringing the case forward. Persons who are listening are bringing the case forward and having questions. Imagine how it is in Jamaica, at one of the most popular dancehall artists.
And what implications, I wonder. We have a caller? Caller, yes. Go ahead. You're live on Island T. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to everybody, man. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, Azard, man, you sound Azard. Yeah, good morning. Hello.
Yes.
We can hear you, caller. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning to everyone, man. Yeah, Azard, you're sounding really good this morning, man.
Yeah, as I said before, I knew that he was going to the Privy Council, but I had not really taken the time to venture into what the arguments were to be presented at the Privy Council, because for me personally, in the whole matter, I just think that it is not a good one. Let me say that. Not a good one in terms of the allegations and what has arisen out of it.
Okay. The other case that you was talking about, about the kid, the young man,
Crumbly,
the students at school, and his parents was on trial.
Yeah.
Okay. His father claiming guilty yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes. And you know,
caller, will the sentence be? Let's just assume. We're just assuming here. I know manslaughter carries up to 15 years in prison. Do you think the parents will get 15 years each for the 4 lives that were lost, or would it just be 15 years straight?
I don't think he'll be.
Oh man, you got the lawyer next to you right there. I think
he won't be able to answer that.
Yeah, I did hear some mention about 15 years, but I'm not sure if it was just collectively for all victims or what. But I did hear something about 15 years.
The wife of his wife was accused was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter.
Both of them.
Yes, and so both of them. And I think that the reason why they tried it separately to ensure that they both the evidence convicting both of them or attempting to convict both of them stand on its own, so there's no sort of disparity or that would render the prosecution having to be unsuccessful. So I think they separated it because they felt that it was best on their part for it to be separated and each person stand on their own merit and with the evidence against them.
So Azard, with the Vice Cartel case, right? When you go back to the court in Jamaica, the court can the retrial. If they go for a retrial, is he going to be tried for murder again, or is it going to be a different charge? A lower charge.
It would be. I assume that it would be the same thing, because the only thing that arose here is the fact that had it not been for the corruption, so to speak, of the jury system, it would have gone through successfully, and we would not have been discussing it here today. Although they said, let me not say that, because they did say, in addition to that, there were other things like the text messages. Also, they said that communication, well, the defense was saying that communication was presented in the court by not using the proper channels for it to be collected. So that is another thing. But the Privy Council didn't even go into that matter, because they said that the jury corruption matter was sufficient enough for them to return their verdict and their decision, that it should be brought back to the law court for a retrial, if anything. So there were other matters to be discussed. Again,
would there be any?
Yes.
Would there be any bargaining for guilty or not guilty for Vice Cartel on a lower charge, and with the fact that he served time already?
I mean, if you, I remember at KFL, our criminal law teacher would always say, you get them, if you're going to do a matter, you go for the higher charge, because you could always, if it is during the trial that you don't succeed on the higher charge of murder, you could always fall back on the lower charges, but you can't do the reverse. So usually it's best to go for the higher charges if you're going, and you can't try it. It's not you ought not to have the same trial on the same facts, or try to bring somebody back to court after you have done not being successful on a lower charge, or bring them on the same facts on a higher charge. So the best bet is always to go with the higher, and then during the evidence. And
okay, so then my last question to you, and then I'll listen off the air. Who has the advantage here? The defendant or the prosecution? And I'll listen off the air.
Well, I always say, and again, when you talk about advantage, you always be determined on the evidence that is before the court, or the evidence that has been collected. I always say that the prosecution in any matter really has its hands full, because the prosecution has to make sure that everything that they're presenting is presented in the way in which it ought to be presented, and that at the end of the day, when they're going before the jury, that they are satisfied, and the jury is satisfied that this person, in fact, is guilty without any doubt in their mind. And so I always say that the prosecution always have their task, because look at it. who would have thought that this matter would have ended? Well, it has not ended yet, but who would have thought that this matter would be here now because of jury corruption? Did the prosecution foresee that before it happened? And and so there's so many things that could happen in a trial that, the defense has an advantage.
The defense has the advantage.
Why I said that, the defense, because if anything goes wrong, then the defendant could always say, but this wasn't a fair trial to me.
Okay.
You understand?
Understood. Just making sure I'm following.
So so if anything goes wrong in any part, the defendant could always say, well, this wasn't a fair trial to me. Expensive would be in terms of lawyer fees, in terms of court processing fees, in terms of, because lawyers at the end of the day would have to be involved again, and using the time and the resources.
When you say lawyers, you mean Mr. Cartel's defense lawyers?
Well, I don't know what his arrangement is, but usually you would pay for your defense team.
Okay. Caller, go ahead. You're live on Island TV.
Yes, go ahead. And then you have to think about...
Good morning, Kortensia. Good morning, Azard.
Good morning. You have to think about, before you go, because I think he asked a question about expenses, you have to think about a jury. Remember, they're there for 65 days. The jury has to be fed. The jurors have to be fed. All of those things are at the expense of the state. Okay. So all of those things is what we have to put into contemplation. And then I don't know how the traveling arrangements would be, but you have 12 persons there that you are feeding daily, that you're transporting daily, that you're putting up, so to speak, security, everything like that. So it really comes at an expense. Okay. Scholar?
Yes, Jamsa, good morning. Morning, Azard.
Yes.
Earlier you mentioned about the roster and the artist that is expected for the upcoming music festival.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I think it was earlier in the week, someone asked a question as to the previous music festival and were there the budget. Did we get an analysis as to how did it went? What was the pros? What was the cons? How can we improve? Enhance on all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you responded that, to your knowledge, you did not get. After the music festival, you will have a press conference and the like.
I must say that I do not recall. Because this was a year ago, the music festival. I don't know if something was given in terms of, and I don't want to say no, and it was. I mean, we really have to. We'll have to find out whether or not anything was reported. I mean, we could always use social media in terms of YouTube and so, because these things are documented. So that is always a quick fix.
I myself has given it, because we were looking at, well, we know COVID came and it put a damper in, and I don't know if a music festival was held between the one with Buja Banton and that one there, that last music festival.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one was held, but it was low-key. So I was looking at how the analysis would have been fared with the numbers and what did we do to improve and enhance on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a little pushback saying that, come on, give the people a little time to really, you know what I mean? I recall my friend behind the console, my friend Jamster, was one of the persons that would have said, but give them some time.
Oh, I think I recall that, Yeah.
Yes.
That was last year. Last year when after the music festival.
Just a reminder, fresh now.
Yeah.
And so, because from time to time, we would look forward to see how the money is being spent. I don't think they have a budget specifically for music festival, but that would have fallen under the purview of the Ministry of Culture, maybe, and how they would have budgeted for, and the gate fees, and we know we will not get back the money is what we would spend for an artist from the gate. but they're like the royalties with persons who would have come on board and they would have these special booths, you know. I don't know how it. So I had really looked forward to getting some, you know, some transparency from the relevant authorities, but I don't think it happened that way. So just wanted to put that out there because there's another one coming up on us here, and we want to see a variety of artists within the Caribbean, and not one just genre of music dominating it.
But Carly, your concerns are valid, and I think that this is what most persons would want to know. That each music festival is assessed. You have the advantages, the disadvantages, what the profits were, what the losses were, if any, and how you could improve. And I think it being a public product.
But this seems like it's just a follow-up to the conversation I had when I got a pushback.
Yeah.
Not only that, I think CARICOM sat the other day and decided that, and ironically, we are talking about Vice Cartel and the overturning of his case and so forth, and the type of lyrics that the Caribbean leaders have seen fit to really weed out from amongst our society for whatever influence, bad negative influence can be derived from those lyrics. And so all of that will be weighed into the equation of how we're going to select artists going forward. Who artists that might have a song. Mind you, most of the songs might be positive, but they might just have a song, and it might be controversial. And should we allow an artist of that nature to be a part of the music festival? Okay, so I just wanted to just weigh in on that. Thanks for listening.
No problem. Thank you so much for your contribution and valid concerns. I think we're going to take a short break, and as soon as we finish with the break, we're going to get back to you.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Play Express Cash and add the Fireball. Just $1 more. You can win it all. So what you waiting? What you waiting for? Every 2.5 minutes, it got to draw. And you can win 200,000 extra to start. So get fired up with the Fireball and Express Cash.
Add some heat to your game. Play Express Cash plus the new Fireball and win up to $200,000 extra. Visit your nearest Caribbean lottery agent and play today.
So get fired up with the Fireball and Express Cash.
Life is unpredictable. When a serious illness strikes, such as cancer, heart attack, or stroke, the Family Critical Illness Plan from Kuna Caribbean Insurance can provide an extra layer of financial protection for you and your family against out-of-pocket expenses. Select a plan that fits your needs and get up to $90,000 in coverage. No medical examination is required. Contact your credit union or one of their approved family indemnity plan providers to enroll today. To learn more, call 466-9453 or visit their website at kunacaribbean.com. Kuna Caribbean Insurance, for all people.
So we're back on Island T, and you know we have a caller. Okay, we
Caller,
have a caller.
go ahead.
Caller,
You're
go
live
ahead.
on Island T. Good morning.
Okay, caller.
Hello, Azard. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Jam Down.
Kortensia. Azard,
Yes.
we poor people in McKnight and Newton want to know when it comes to We Music Festival, why is it they don't want to feature Banky and Infamous? Why? And bring the international stars around them. Why? They have quality to be on any music festival. Banky doing so well. Well, Marsha, it's because Banky from where you call Bad Boy Town. He looks so. I mean, when you look at Toadwall, Cat Coy and he were carrying Toadwall. When last Toadwall do an album? And some of these artists who begging, who in Jamaica can't even get work. Eh? But bring some experience back in the thing. Bring back Steve Pulse. Bring back other group. Max Romy and them. He go, yeah, the artists out there doing well. Eh? What's going on in the music festival? My brother in Africa just make a valued point. From 50 years, when the vagabond fellow try to show some transparency into the business. I thought that will be the process going forward for the festival. We want transparency when we're going on the road with the thief in this no more, you know. We want transparency in the system.
Indeed.
And when it comes to that woman, who it look like to me is only she one no artist. Adrian Land been doing it from the inception. All of a sudden, the zombie come into it. And they remove Adrian, and he got so much to offer to a music festival. But we're going to take them things and we boycott it.
Thank you for your contribution, Jamdo. So you see, there are persons out there waiting for the music festival artists release.
And this is today's probably the first wave. So they're going to give us it in pieces.
I don't even know what they're going to
but
do.
I oftentimes ask, and this is a question to both you and Jamster, why do we need to bring back the same people sometimes over and over, like 3 and 4 times? Caller, go ahead, you're live on Island T.
Good morning, folks.
Good morning, Carl. How are you?
Yes, and good morning to the listeners home and abroad. I don't give you all the answer you asked just now, ma'am, and give you a short, the question you asked, and give you a short, quick answer to that.
Okay, Carl. Listening.
See what is happening. When the music festival started many years ago, the objective was to bring heads in beds. Because, around that time was slow. The tourist season would have been winding up. The cruise season, we'd have wound it up in April. And the objective of that was to put heads in bed. But here what is happening, guys. That time is far gone and over. It is time now we stop giving away the music festival for that small mega price that we are charging at the gate and start putting price where you're now thinking about making a profit. Heads in beds, that has achieved. It is time now you start working and making a profit. And here how we are going to do it. The vendors that attend the music festival, the bars and so, we understood it's like 10,000 and so they charge them. Here what we are going to do. You drop it down to 7,000 and you raise the gate to $200 a ticket. That's how you are going to achieve of making a profit. Because heads now will and must come in beds because you have a name brand. No, and you have a festival that everybody save for to attend every June in St. Kitts Nevis. That goal has already achieved. You reach where you want to reach now because you now have cricket during music festival.
Carl, that's usually what persons do. They give you a product, and the product is a nice product. It's relatively cheap, sometimes free, and you get used to the product until you feel like you can't do without it, and they raise the price,
Yeah, but because if you love it, you'll pay for it
and
still.
That's the idea.
Yeah, so that's the idea. We are going to pay.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's the idea.
Will pay.
Yeah.
Just like Carnival. You see, Carnival has been going on all these years.
And it's been going up.
Yeah, we know that thing is going to happen, so we are going to save for it. That's what people do, right? It's just like Carnival, the overseas guests and returning national, they save and they take their vacation around that time, and they come and spend and do things. Same thing with culture, Amo, right? So people going to do that because why the same artists keep coming back? Because if they're going to bring the artists that we want, those artists where it's like 300,000 and 400,000, you know, you have to raise the gate fee, and that is the music festival committee don't want to take up that challenge because they're afraid of the pushback of we the callers who are going to say, yeah, the gate fee is expensive, but we want the good artists, and we can't get the good artists for $130, $35.
Yeah, that's correct.
So the thing is, what we have to do now, we can obtain those artists, but here you have to let the public know, listen, Beyonce is willing to come, but Beyonce is $300,000-$400,000 for the music festival.
Yeah.
Right? You have town hall meetings and you ask the public. We are going to raise the gate fee for Beyonce. It's going to be $300 per ticket. VIP is going to be $800. Are you folks willing to pay that? And if the public answer you yes, which you know the public will answer yes, because you hundreds and thousands of people around the world and in St. Kitts Nevis want to see artists like Beyonce and those other people. But you gotta let them know to bring 6 or 7 of these artists. It's going to cost you $300-$400 a night, and VIP going to cost you like $800 and $1,000 a night.
And Carl, we know they're going to pay that $1,000 for that particular night, right?
Oh yes, yeah. Easily.
Yeah.
And here what's going to come in now. The banks them now, and the loan institution will chip in around that time, work along with the music festival committee, and start offering loans.
You know they do offers and so now for Carnival.
So a music festival loan could be
$3,000 loan for going the tour.
Yeah.
Yes.
So everything can become a loan now.
Offer $5,000, $10,000 loan, and you're paying 3%. Listen, those people are going to rush to those banks. Those banks are going to be smiling after the music festival. Right? So it's a holistic thing. Everybody come on board. And then hear what is going to happen. Right? You know, start having like what they don't have at that time and things. What you could do too, you could offer the artists them well. We are going to take you over to Nevis and you do a little show in the day on Nevis. Think it's people are going to run across the edge where you're going to make money again. The whole country going to make money.
We can even have some of the artists down in the area that we set up in town.
In the square.
Yeah, so especially during lunchtime.
Signing autograph and meeting the fans, and you know, you call out the vendors them and you know that sort of thing. It's a lot of things you could do to start making a profit now, you know.
Carl, I vote for you for the next Prime Minister.
Artists, them attend maybe a football match, you know, and they half time you have them do a little tune or two.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna everybody gonna make a little something.
Everybody. You are correct.
You could have 1 or 2 of the artists do a little small hour show on the strip, but for these people on the strip with the bars, them. You crazy? You know the kind of traffic gonna be on that lawn over there. You know the kind of people gonna rush to the strip, because when you hear Voice Cartel on the strip, right? Then you hear Busy Signal and Voice Cartel doing a 2-hour show on the strip today. You mad? You know what kind of money the strip gonna make and those businesses over there? So it's just them. Like I say, everybody want to be on a committee, but they just want to carry the name to say, I am this on the committee. But to put the work and the idea and execute the plan, everybody reversing.
Carl, why are you not on the committee? Because you have some excellent
they don't
ideas.
Want people like me on committees because your ideas, you are too small and your ideas are too big.
But the big ideas will
And
make us all money.
And cheap to execute.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing: we now have to start next year. Then the music festival committee, after this music festival, could start having some town hall meetings, start doing some.
Carl,
Shows on the radios and informing people. We will bring the artists you want, but it's going to cost you.
Okay.
Carl, question. You seem very knowledgeable and taking track of the music festival and everything like that. Have you heard them since last year give a report as to what was the profit, whether loss, whether...
No, I've been asking about that on talk shows. Where is this in office and where is the update and financial report, or what we just say the postmortem?
Okay, so we're not alone here.
I don't think they did a postmortem last year music festival.
Okay.
They don't have, and you know what I find funny about it? They have a number of press conferences during the music festival, but after the music festival, they don't have a press conference to say how they did and, that kind of thing. Now look at it, you just hear the financial report for the CPL, and you hear the kind of millions that think it's made. So how come we don't get that from the music festival? I remember a few years we used to get it. And it had, how it was done is the callers, we had to demand it on the talk shows.
Mm-hmm.
It's a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, how you all in touch the issue with Haiti, where Kenya is now sending 1,000 police officers to Kenya? The government has passed it in Parliament. Remember that I take it to court.
Mm-hmm.
And the matter now is that the you could say the government win, and the government passed into Parliament that they're going to send 1,000 police officers to Haiti to clean up Haiti. And the people of Kenya is with the government on it. Could you imagine that? Where is CARICOM? Where is OECS? Those jokers. They were supposed to be leading the charge.
Well, the Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister, or whenever, he really resigns. A person saying he resigned, but based on all reports, it says after this presidential committee or college he resigns. But remember that he went to Kenya to visit based on to get security from Kenya. On his way from Kenya, he could not land on his island. So we've been touching that as well. We really had a discussion. I don't know if you were here listening.
Carl, we just didn't get to touch it yet for this morning.
We just didn't touch it this morning, but we've been touching it every day, I think, since. Yeah.
And here the thing about it is that our Prime Minister just achieved the chairmanship of the RSS.
Yeah.
So we have no excuse now. We have no excuse now. Now it's time for CARICOM and OECS to lead a military charge into Haiti along with the US, Canada, and France, and England. But CARICOM must take the lead.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to clean up Haiti. This should not have never been happening in the Caribbean.
No, it should not. But Carl, do you really think we can clean up Haiti? Because...
Yes, we can.
Okay.
But it has to be done military. And their souls going to be lost. Sacrifices are going to be made. People are going to lose their lives. Sacrifices have to
innocent
be made
people
to achieve the goal. But the only way Haiti is going to clean up is CARICOM and all those other countries lead a military charge to Haiti and demolish and destroy those gangs.
So we have to kill everybody in the gangs.
Democratic nation.
Oh boy. Okay.
Are gone.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sounds. the cleanup sounds rough
Yes.
because we have to basically kill people to start over, which is never good.
And there was a video that I saw last evening with what seemed to be one of the gang leaders with a foot in the fire, body.
Members of the gang.
Yeah, with foot in the fire.
And eating that nonsense.
Yeah, eating
Is
the
that
body
even
parts.
true?
Oh, that wasn't true. Okay, so that was from a movie.
Okay, so it's not true.
It's not true.
Because I'm like,
okay.
You see,
it's crazy.
we have to be mindful of social media because
Yes.
I'm like, what nonsense is this? Caller, go ahead. You're live on Alan T. Good morning.
Go ahead.
Okay, I want to come back in real quickly after Carl made that statement about Dr. Drew getting the chairmanship of the RSS.
Yes, that's
So
on the
now
release.
he also right now what I want him to do, he has to improve and increase on a local security force for St. Kitts and Nevis. That he got to get done because we see how the murder rates has been increasing in St. Kitts and Nevis. So we have to now guard and protect our own society from getting into a tumultuous situation like Haiti. So that's my contribution on that. Thanks a lot, man.
All right.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, caller.
I'm seeing this article, and it's from Luke Caribbean, and it says Bert Samuels outlines why the UK Privy Council quash convictions. And in this, it says senior attorney at Bert Samuels, whose team represented Sean Storm Campbell before the UK-based Privy Council in the Vice Cartel murder appeal, has expressed his elation that the convictions have been squashed. At the same time, Samuels is insisting that the four defendants, Campbell, Cartel, Andre, and Jones, should not be tried again following the ruling Thursday morning by the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council. Samuels had previously said that he was 80% certain that the convictions would have been overturned. He said that on February 15, the second of 2 days of the hearing before the Privy Council, the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council, in quashing the murder convictions for which the men were sentenced to life in prison in 2011 murder of their friend Clive Lizard Williams, sent the matter back to Jamaica's Court of Appeal to decide whether there should be a retrial. If the lower court decides against a retrial, the four men who have been behind bars since their arrest on September 30th, 2011 will walk free. The Judicial Committee of the Privy Council quashed the convictions on the grounds of juror misconduct. It says here going on, it says the veteran attorney said that there are several factors why the men should not be tried again. These relate to how long the persons have been in custody, the length of trial, the cost of the trial to the defendants to find new lawyers. He also pointed to what he described as a pre-trial publicity should a new trial be ordered, and adverse public publicity that is in the public domain about the case. These are the main factors against a retrial. In conclusion, the Privy Council said the Privy Council said the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council has concluded that the appeals should be allowed and the appellant's conviction should be quashed on the ground of jury misconduct, and that the case should be remitted to the Court of Appeal of Jamaica to decide whether to order a retrial of the applicants for the murder of the deceased. The justices who heard the appeals were Lord Reed, Lord Lloyd Jones, Lord Bridge, and Lord Burrows and Lady Simler. Caller, you're live on Island T.
Yes, Azard.
Yes.
This is Jam down here again.
Hey, Jam down.
Azard, Carbon just said a mouthful. And you ain't seen no kind of improvement in the music festival from since you launched it down the hotel. I mean, why is it you can't get activities during the day over Nevis? You got all the 5 stars just sitting down. Incorporate Nevis where they go over there and do a show at 2 and come back in the evening. People will go and support. This is what we want. Transparency is the big thing. And I'm going to say to my brethren, say just calling from Nevis. Whoever the contractor over there be trying to mess you up, my brother, we're going to work with them kind of things in this federation, you know. When people work hard and put the savings to use, and you was successful from your family, inherit a piece of land, and grudging contractors want to do your life, I will want to go and need because you will the contractor be. And you fight, you know, my brother, in New York. You fight. You think it's Nevis petition, Nevision. You fight. Don't sit down and allow them things. As long as you know you're paying them fairly, they got to do your work. Have a good day, Azard. And Kortensia.
Thank you so
John
much. Thank you. Another issue that we wanted to discuss is the partner hand. We know that there's so many discussions on the partner hand at this point in time. I've had persons who come to my office in relation to recovering monies that they would have put in to this partner hand, you know.
I've seen people on the big license lives calling out people for not giving them their money on their partner hands.
Yes.
Call up. Good morning. You're live on Island T.
Good morning, Azard. Good morning, Kortensia. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, my live input this morning, I listened to Carl Brown. And Carl Brown, the situation in Haiti is not so easy to deal with.
Nope.
Listen, you got the good people and you got the bad people.
Yep.
It's just like when you're going in the jungle and you're going to go look at wild animals. And the bad animals them between you don't know what is you don't know what is up.
Yep.
When you look, you're in the jungle, an animal come tear you apart. You understand? The situation in Haiti right now is very terrible.
Yeah.
And that's why I said yesterday that the head of Caribbean leaders get together, sit down with these people who got the issues, the leaders, the young leaders and them, and they work out whatever they want with them. And then if they ain't get nothing from that, well, they got to do something else different. But you just can't go in there with no ammunition and no gun and this and that because you fight fire with fire. He ain't going to be no good to you, going to just make it work. And innocent people are going again. A lot of innocent people done dead because of the situation. And, you know, that is what I think, and that is what I think that should happen. I am against America and other nations come in and assist them with whatever food or whatever, because right now it's food the people them want. The people them dying for hungry. They don't want a gun, they don't want ammunition or this and all that or that. They want the economy to come back and get work and get food to eat and feed the children them. They want medical treatment and all these things. Because the hospital, I'm sure the hospital up in a way. In a different way.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you know that these are things that we're supposed to think about instead of talk about, you know, Caribbean leaders them can't just go in there with no ammunition and nothing and just think they're going to get things done that way.
Yeah, because Haiti has 9,000. Haiti has 9,000 persons in their police force, and they're still getting licks. So how many persons can we contribute?
And they're still going and capture the police station and shooting police and doing all kind of ignorance.
So we have to be also realistic with our expectations as well, considering that what has just been said, their police force is larger than ours.
Yep. And they are getting licked. So imagine somebody else going in there and trying to help. I just think it needs maybe a SEAL team to just go in and catch the revolutionists when they're sleeping in the night and just. I think that's the easiest way to clean them out, because the innocent are struggling, the children are struggling. Parents can't feed their children.
We have a caller.
Caller, go ahead. You're live on LNT.
Hi guys, Carl here again.
Yes.
Hear what is happening. Mr. Politics, time for talking and negotiating has long passed. Right? It is no time for no talking and no negotiation now. You must send in a military mission. You give these people 1 month to surrender, put down your guns and surrender, and let us take the nation back to democratic seat. After 1 month, it's search and destroy. There's no time for no more talking and negotiation. You think these people gonna just sit down? We would like that you all give all of us freedom don't mind the mountain life that we took, and we must get freedom, and we must be a model citizen again. And you think these people going to negotiate anything like that with them? They have the power. They have Haiti how they want. You think they're going to give up that unless you use military force?
But Carl, do you think Barbecue and his allies can go back to being model citizens once they receive amnesty?
No.
Okay.
No, they're going to just put on a show for a while, and then they're going to use forces along with them and do an overthrow again as soon as a peacekeeping force leave Haiti.
Yeah, it's like people have to stay around to keep the peace.
They're going to assassinate the president and the prime minister and all other top politicians as usual. So you must send in a military mission, search and destroy. You give them 1 month notice that we are coming in.
To search and destroy?
When you come in, if you all still in control and still in possession of your weapons and the same military destruction, our mission is search and destroy.
Okay.
That's the only way you're going to clean up Haiti. Because if you keep talking and negotiating, what negotiation has got us over the last 30 years of Haiti incident? Nil, not zero. Just continuous president being assassinated, prime minister, all kind of politicians and things. So it's not going to stop unless you're going there. You see what with Grenada? You see when the overthrow Archbishop and military mission force went in there, you see how Grenada is thriving and doing so well in the world now?
Yep.
That is what it takes. It needs a military mission by, like I tell you all earlier, France, America, England, the Caribbean, and the Africans. See, Kenya done sending 1,000.
But 1,000 opposed to the 9,000 that Haiti already has that's getting licks, Carl. Do you really think that's going to help? Because I don't want anybody to lose their lives.
Hear what is going to happen. The American could send in at least 5,000. You know, England could send in 5,000.
But
you know,
those
you're going to have 1,000 from Kenya. The Caribbean could send in at least 2,000 with all the countries of the Caribbean put together. And you go in there and you'll see how quick. I tell you, you go in there and your mission is search and destroy or surrender. I tell you, in 5 months or less, that Haiti.
Okay, Carl.
So, Carl, thank you. We have another call.
Caller, go ahead. You're live on Island TV.
Yeah, man. Carl Brown and Mr.
Be brief because we have a next. We have a break soon.
Real quickly, I will just get between them. I'll roll with Mr. Politics idea first, and if that don't work, I'll jump on Carl's idea. But I want to thank the guy, the elder man, Mr. Jam Down. I want to thank him for speaking up on my behalf and giving me my support with that project that we need to talk about. So thanks to Mr. Jam Down.
Alrighty.
Thanks a lot, man.
Alrighty.
Thank you so much for your contribution. We'll take a short break and we'll get back to Island T.
Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less and save more. How, you ask? Essential Everyday and Equiline. Spend less on our Essential Everyday products and get the best quality, the best taste, and the best value. Spend less for all your family health and beauty needs with the Equiline brand of over-the-counter products. Portsmouth Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less. With our Essential Everyday products and Equiline over-the-counter health and beauty care products. Shop smart and spend less at Value Mart, where price matters most.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Save the date and don't be late on Thursday 28th March for the Agri Easter Night Market. Join us at the Bastia Public Market from 5 p.m. until 10 p.m. for your local produce, fruits, cooked food, fresh fish and meat, agro-processed goods, saltfish, coconut dumplings, conky, bullfoot, real cook-up with and without oink. Registration forms are available at the Bastia Public Market, the Ministry of Agriculture, Building 16, Port Zante, and the Department of Agriculture, La Grete. It's the Agri Easter Night Market, Thursday 28th March from 5 p.m. at the Public Market. You better meet me there.
If you're looking for sweetness to put inside a basket, I am the thinking market.
And we're back on Island T. And as I was just telling Azard, we need to get into the Susu, man. We need to get into this partner hand discussion. This is a hot topic. And Azard, I would like to tell you that if you didn't know, partner hand started. It actually started in Jamaica, and it spread across the Caribbean. And it became a big thing in the UK that there's even a display at the museum concerning this partner hand. And after 75 years, it's still thriving in the UK. And why the partner hand started in the UK, it is because when the Windwest generation went to the UK, they were not allowed to have bank accounts. The banks weren't taking their monies, so they trusted someone in the community to collect the monies. And they saved. They bought houses, they bought cars, they paid for funerals, they paid for weddings, just by this communal savings. And we see that it continues until today. I must say I was in one years ago, a U.S. hand in Antigua, and I wanted the last one, and after that I never went back in, because sometimes I look at the lady that held the pot. She always had to put in money for other people that were always behind. So I never joined the next partner hand. As you would have said, you had clients that would have come to retrieve their monies, and then we see a lot going around social media. As I said, people who's been on the people's live calling out people for their monies, and some people are saying people are going into bigger hands and didn't pay them and lost the monies that they went into the bigger hands with.
What I find based on discussions is the fact that you might have one person and they're in charge of the hand, but they're in charge of several hands. So they don't only in charge of the hand between you and John, but they're in charge of the hand between Peter and Paul, Mary and Jane. So they're in so many different hands. And when one person fails to commit, to honor their commitment, to me, that is where everything falls.
Yeah,
because and then when persons receive monies, the thing about it too, you have a situation where everyone, their payouts at different days. So someone might receive a payout without having to put all the monies up before that payout. So let's say they are weekly and it's $200 a week, but the first payout is the second week, just to say. And that is $800, and you get your $800 only having put in the hand already about maybe $400.
Yeah, so you get double the amount.
So you leave the hand, because after that most persons feel like they don't get their monies.
Yeah, they don't.
And
need
they
to
leave and they don't
no,
contribute
no longer.
And so that is one of the issues. And another issue is where when this happens, the person who is in management of the hand continues with the hand and have persons coming in. And so it becomes a real situation that is unmanageable. And so I often tell persons that if you're going into these things, know who you're going in with.
But
also,
you can know you're going with Azard, but you don't expect people to shaft you like that, as you would say.
I think that contracts should be made, because what this is a situation where you're putting in monies and there needs to be the person who is managing the hand needs to be very accountable with the monies that they are given. And so you must be able to have a paper trail as to who gave money, who didn't, and who need to give the money based
But
on
I
their
think that's what
commitments.
some of them do. Caller, go ahead. You're
Caller,
live on
you're live.
IMT. Good morning.
Azard,
Yes.
just now, before you bring up the topic, a young lady just come here to me about the same problem with partner. Yeah? she just gone here. When me landed here, was talking to me about some friend that she won, and she partner and what took place. And before I go, I'm going to be quick. I want to tell Carl around that Haiti got in millions of people. What millions Haiti got in, Azard?
I think I don't. It's millions. I don't have the precise. I guess we could look for the figure, but it's millions.
Haiti got in millions of people. Haiti is a big country. Haiti is a country like St. Kitts, Nevis,
11.5 million.
And country that are Barbados are them that a troop will come here one time and just surrender everybody. You know, that's why I tell him, jam don't break out from one way to the next. Just don't break out there, that don't break out there, and everything done this in a way. So how anything any organization going to control things so easy?
So Haiti's population as of 2021, 11.45 million.
That is just it. But Carl, must you think it just like think it and leave it at some other small country. They could just go in there and me not against what you say, no. But the impression again, like the group, them are any Caribbean country leaders could go in there and do what they got to do. It's just like a Bobby chap said. You just talk about when they had the war in Vietnam.
Yes.
These members, their members don't got the thing set up. So when they go in, man like going innocently. So they go be careful. All right then.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for your contribution. So indeed, you have this situation where persons are going into these hands. You have persons not honoring their commitment, because that is where the problem starts. When you're not honoring your commitment, you're supposed to pay the monies by the end of the week. You fail to pay the money, and then afterwards you then receive your payout or the payout, and then you leave. So,
but how can legal action be taken against someone who leaves and decides that they are not going to pay the monies?
Okay, so before we continue, we have Mr. Hanley in here. This actually is the next segment, and we're supposed to be speaking about the election of the his committee. We're going to go straight into that. I know we started the partner hand, but we have to take a break. Yes, we'll be back. Yes, with the partner hand. Yes.
Insurance Company Limited, where you get more coverage for less.
Yes, and so we have with us in studio a representative from the St. Kitts Nevis Amateur Radio Society. They just held their election, and they have a whole new committee that has been put in place based on the election. And we have David Hanley, and he's here with us, and David is the president of the society, and so he's going to tell us more about it. The society, again, it is the St. Kitts Nevis and Anguilla Amateur Radio Society, and it was established in April 1973, 50 years ago, and it's well over 50. It recently held its annual general meeting, and it has now elected its new executive for the period of 2024 to 2026. Welcome, Mr. Hanley. How are you?
Welcome, Mr. Hanley. Good morning.
Thank you. And good morning to you in the studios, the host and hostess, and good morning to all your listeners out there in Radio Land. I'm fairly okay, thanks, yes.
Wonderful. So you're here with us, and we're here on Island Tea, and we're discussing the recent election for the establishment of your committee that is set to run from 2024 to 2026. Can you tell us more about the society?
Okay, as you have said earlier, the society was formed on the 12th of April, 1973, so we are 50 years old. It is a community-based organization. To be more specific, it is a community-based service organization, because that is basically what we do. And we are into radio, two-way radio communication. You have to have a license. You receive a license, you do the necessary training, and then you apply to the NTRC, which is your local regulatory body, and they will administer an exam. And once you are successful in that exam, you can get a license, and that allows you to communicate with folks, similar-minded persons, locally, regionally, and internationally. No profit. It's a non-profit organization.
Let me ask you then, how many persons are established members of your society?
Well, it's on a quick reflection. I think we probably had about 60 persons who have been licensed. Probably about 50 of those are members of our organization. But to be realistic, we probably have about 30 persons who are really active. You know, folks will go dormant and they get active again. I'm a perfect example of that. I got my license in 1976 as a teenager.
Oh boy!
And I operated for 4 years. And then I got distracted with music and other things and commercial. I went into commercial telecommunications. And 40 years after, I came back to the club. I'm the president, so you can't give up on persons who stray away and come back.
Yes.
I am looking here at your executive, and I'm seeing there are letters and numbers in brackets. What do those mean?
Okay, you have myself, David Hanley, as president, and that is our call sign. Every licensed operator has what you call a call sign, and that is something that is given by the NTRC. You can make a request to, if you have a particular call sign that you want, you can make a request to the NTRC. And if it's available, I'm sure they will oblige. It is in two parts, though. The first three characters, the V44, that's our national. That is for St. Kitts Nevis.
Okay.
And different islands, different places have different things like V4, 6, and KJ6 and those things. And then the last two or three, some persons have two.
Yeah, some persons
I
have
have two. And
you have two, yeah.
Yes, and our vice president, who is Cedric Jeffords, he has four. He's V44 KBJ. Kyle Herbert is our secretary, V44 Keddy. Our assistant secretary is Erickson France, a veteran in the business. He's V44 KK. And our hard-working treasurer. We're all hard-working, but I single out her because she has done yeoman service to this organization over the years. She was the secretary. Previously, she was the secretary, but in this last election, she is now the treasurer.
How is it that you and Mr. Hubbard has the same two last letterings at the end of your call sign?
I am DH and he's KD.
Oh, because I'm seeing KD for you and KD for him.
You seeing KD for me or DH? KD?
No, literally.
Oh.
Okay.
Whoever sent you that was an error.
We
do
no
apologize
problem.
for that.
Okay.
And it's nice that you observe that.
All right.
But I'm actually DH, and the DH really comes from my name, David Hanley.
Okay, nice.
And quite a number of operators, they do that. They just use the initials, you know.
Okay.
So that's what happened.
And you say you communicate with each other. For persons that do not understand, why When you say communicating with each other, what do you mean? Like if there's a storm, you can send a message. Is it something like that?
Okay, you probably heard about walkie-talkie,
Yeah.
walkie-talkie and two-way radio and citizen band and so.
Okay.
Where we are like the big brother to those.
Oh, okay.
Established radio stations. And so we get these two-way radios, and they come in three types really. You can have those little handheld ones. We call them handies.
Okay.
You can have those in your automobile, and you can have a home-based station, which is a little bigger,
Okay.
and that's usually the powerhouse.
Okay.
And you can transmit. We have bands, we have frequency bands, and there's a wide range of frequency bands that we operate in. And those, of course, is under the guidance of the regulatory body, the NTRC. And so you can go out there and you can call, you can send out a call, a QC call, identify yourself, and hope that someone or some persons would respond to your call. And then you start a conversation and so forth. So
While you're speaking, my mind is flowing, and I'm thinking this was established in 1973.
Okay.
In the recent times, especially the 2000s, let's say 2005 up, there have been what you call the advancement of social media, and we have WhatsApp, we have so many things that is very instant and very accessible to a large number of persons. How would you say that? How would you talk about, or how would you say that it's still relevant to have an association like this given today's realities?
Okay, that's an excellent question. The truth of the matter is that amateur radio was the first social media, and it came in the form of Morse code. That. And believe it or not, Morse code is still alive and well. Morse code even came before telephony, before speech. That is how the military and the railroads and everybody communicated in the early days. Morse, the codes, Morse and other codes, and then telephony come along later on and so forth. Yes, you are right. We have faced some competition from those other platforms, but in times of disasters,
Those platforms
when
don't.
everything goes down, when the electricity is off, when there is no light, when there is no tower blows down and so, the amateur radio operator still stands.
Oh boy.
Because we are quite portable. We can get to a radio, we can go on a good point, vintage point, strategic point. And we can just sling up a wire to the specific dimensions, and we have our battery, a car battery and something, and we can reach any place in the world with that. So if I may quickly though, just give you a quick rundown of what I would like to basically divide our operations into 4 categories. We are a service organization first and foremost. We provide telecommunication service in times of disasters, like in those from the 89, come back then we had the series of hurricanes. There were times when we were the ones who really took the communication until the other forms got back up, the other platforms got back up.
Okay.
So there have been times that we, the hams, were the ones who communicated with the outside world when everything else was down in St. And we also communicate not just in disasters, but when there are events, special events. All of the international organizations like cricket, ICC, the Olympics, the FIFA, all those organizations, when they're having the events, they usually request the presence of amateur operators. So we are there from the service side. But we are also a social organization in that we communicate with other like-minded persons, regionally, locally, and so forth. And in so doing, a lot of friendships have been made over the years, over the decades. From doing that, persons have come here. As a matter of fact, you heard about sports tourism?
Yes.
Well, I'm going to add a new one. You have radio tourism. Because from communicating with persons, making contacts and so forth, persons have actually traveled, specifically traveled to St. Kitts to see the place and so
Oh,
forth.
nice.
And our club, I must admit, just like in other things, we punch a little above our weight for our size. Similarly, in amateur operator, our club, our organization, we're not just 50 years old, but we punch above our size. So persons know us. There's one of our guys, Keaton France, the photographer. You probably might have known him.
Yeah,
He has made contact with every place in the world that there is an amateur operator.
Oh, nice. So he has a record.
And
That's good.
there are probably one or two others, but I can say for him for sure.
I think that this is a golden opportunity, perhaps, for the society to go into schools, and perhaps introduce young students, to the technology that was before their time, before my time too.
All of our times. I wasn't around either. Yeah.
So, hardly every one of us was around. So, because when we you're thinking and they're saying,
73. I was probably not even a thought.
And even the technology was there even before the society in 1973.
Oh, yes.
So it's still years before many of us.
There are radio clubs that are strictly 100 years old.
Yes.
Okay.
So, yes, that is a good suggestion, and we have thought about that. And that brings me to the third leg. I've spoken about service. I've spoken about the social aspect, and now we're going into the educational side of things.
Okay. Wonderful.
Now, in order to get a amateur radio license, you have to do a course. Okay. There's a course of study. You don't have to do it with us.
Yes.
You can do it however you want, but we have done quite a bit, probably. The bulk of the ham operators in St. Kitts, they were probably trained under the St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla Amateur Radio Society.
Okay.
And it is basically basic electronics with some radio theory and rules and regulations as to the do and the don'ts when you're operating on the airwaves. And many persons have started out as hams and have went into, because of that training, that electronic training that they've gotten, they have went into full-time work in radio. Technology, not just in radio, because once you have electronic training, you can go into anything. Electronics, once you understand the basic principles, the components, and the circuitry and so forth, you can go into anything where electronics is required,
I didn't know all of that was involved in this.
Yes, it is involved in it. So that's part of it, that training thing, from the radio standpoint, and protocol, how to deal with persons internationally. And also when you're operating, we have our cultural stuff in different places. So when you're operating with somebody in a certain country, sometimes you have to be mindful of what you say and so forth. And so all those little things you start to learn, And one thing I can say is that we try to stay away from politics and religion.
Praise
because, those are two of the most controversial topics you can think about. And ham radio is really into building and brotherhood and that sort of thing. And last but not least is the fourth thing that we do is watchdog. We have a watchdog organization. First of all, we monitor ourselves because there are so many of us, and we operate on such a wide range in the radio frequency spectrum, that we have to monitor ourselves. That's one of the things you're taught when you're being trained as an operator. You have to be responsible, So you have to monitor yourself. And if you don't, the club would monitor you.
When you say responsible, you mean what you communicate over the radio?
Well, there are things that you call there's something called interference.
Okay.
And interference can come in different forms. You can have a piece of equipment that is not working too well. It probably has a short somewhere, and rather than you go and fix it, you're taking the chance to operate it, and it's just making a lot of noise and throwing off what we call spurious emissions, just throwing interference all over the band. And so we don't want that, Also, some persons, they may be operating in the band. You can tune. You're operating in the band, but you go so close to the edge of the band that some of your signal spilled out of the band and call interference. James just say 1 minute. Can I just use that 1 minute to say something,
Yes.
please?
Yes.
Okay. We have done, I believe, humbly, I may say, good service to this federation. And we are a non-profit organization. The subscription that we get from our members, and our members, we dip our hands in our pockets every day, all day, to keep the operation of the club, the society. However, there are capital projects that are a little beyond our pockets. Right now, we are trying to fix. We have a piece of land up at Taylor's, and we have been trying to pay it off for some time now, you know. And we experience some difficulties. It's like 1 step forward, 2 steps backwards. Also, we have we're trying to get 3 containers on that land. We have a 40-footer. We're trying to get another 40-footer and then a 20-footer to the base of them. So if I'm that little 3 thing, 1 go down, 1 come across, 1 come up.
Yeah.
And so we need 2 more containers. I am making an appeal to anyone out there that is a private person, a business place, that can assist us in terms of money, in terms of kind, to probably get that land, for that land to become ours, because after 50 years, we still don't have a home. So we're trying to establish our home, you know. So if we can get assistance, and even the government too. The government has assisted. They have given us a little thing here and there, but we're also making an appeal to the government and other persons who can assist to help us to get this piece of land, help us to get our containers, and help us to continue serving St. Kitts and Nevis the way we have done and the way we have been doing over the past 50 years. We are also looking fresh blood. So if there are persons out there who are interested in joining the association, we are particularly looking for young persons with an interest in electronics. And so if you are out there and you want to become a radio operator and you want to further your skills, for instance, I was a ham as a teenager, and I went into professional communications. That's where I made my living. So others can do it too. So I'm making an appeal to young persons to come on board. You can contact myself, David Hanley, at 662-2613, or Handav, HANDAV, at hotmail.com.
Okay.
Or you can contact the secretary, Mr. Kyle Herbert, at 662-9099, and his email is kylerock@gmail.com.
So congratulations on achieving 50 years and many more, and I hope that your appeal was heard and that persons will contribute, as you said, both in cash and kind, and I hope that the young ones are listening so they too can become part of an organization and ensure that it thrives for many years to come.
Thank you so kindly.
You're welcome.
And thank you for having me.
Our pleasure.
No problem.
And that's my former co-worker. I worked here 20-something years ago.
Oh, wow.
With him.
Well,
that's good.
Welcome.
Welcome back.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Yes. So there we had it. We had the St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla Amateur Radio Society president giving us information on the society and what the work at hand is for the society. Thank you so much, Mr. Hanley. Do have a pleasant day, and we ask persons to stick and stay as we go on to our next segment, Fireproof.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Bless the fire. It's pure fire when the track gets set ablaze for the 2024 Rams Primary School Championships. On Thursday, March 21st, the Kim Collins Athletic Stadium has the fire. And on Friday, March 22nd and Saturday, March 23rd, the Sandy Point New Recreation Ground will be set ablaze. Admission on Thursday, March 21st is free. Yep, free. Admission on Friday, March 22nd is $10 children and $15 adults. Admission on Saturday, March 23rd is $15 children and $20 adults. Start time for all days is 12 p.m. sharp. So come on out and bring the family because it's fire on the track for the 2024 Rams Primary School Championships.
Ready for me.
Are you looking for a new dining experience to whet your appetite? Explore the flavors of the world at Pangea Multi-Cuisine Kitchen and Lounge. Our menu features Latin, Chinese, Mexican, and Indian cuisine with a local twist. The cozy and elegant ambiance provides the perfect backdrop for an unforgettable dining experience. Whether you're in the mood for a romantic night out, a family dinner, or a business lunch, our restaurant is the perfect place to discover new tastes and enjoy a delicious meal. Book your table at Pangea Multi-Cuisine Kitchen and Lounge today by calling us at 465-9100 or visit our website at ktcsvdm.com and our Facebook page at Pangea by KTCS Limited. We are located in the heart of Port Sante, Bastille, St. Kitts. Come and explore the flavors of the world.
Here and we're back. We have our segment Fireproof, and Fireproof have persons here, new additions. Well, not new additions because we've had their faces here already, but we have with us in studio some additional persons today on Fireproof, and what we're going to be discussing is the Carib wave, and they're going to be giving us more information on that. And so we welcome all of those who are here this morning with us, and we really are, in anticipation to the sharing. We are waiting in anticipation for the sharing of the information that is to be, given to us. So, welcome. We have a number of persons. I'm going to ask you to introduce yourselves so that the persons listening could have some understanding of who you are and the area you represent. Yes, go ahead.
Ladies first. Hi, good morning, Radio Land. My name is Orika Lennon Petty. I am the Acting Deputy National Disaster Coordinator at NEMA.
Welcome. Mm-hmm.
Hello, good morning to everyone. I am Superintendent Lyndon David, police officer, and also the persons who coordinate the tsunami warning focal point.
Okay.
Good morning, listening audience and viewing audience. My name is Timothy Martin, Acting Deputy Fire Chief for the St. Kitts and Nevis Fire and Rescue Services. Pertaining to the tsunami exercise, I am a part of exercise control.
Okay.
Good morning. My name is Davwan Clark, Acting Fire Station Officer
from the St. Kitts and Nevis Fire and Rescue Services.
So we have a number of persons in studio, as I indicated before. We're talking about today the Caribbean wave. Could you give us more information about the Caribbean wave?
Okay, so Caribbean Wave is an annual tsunami exercise of the Intergovernmental Coordination Group for the Tsunami and other coastal hazard warning systems for the Caribbean and adjacent region. It is led by the Interoceanographic Commission of the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, and we participate in Caribbean Wave every year as part of our tsunami ready recognition.
Okay. Yes. Go ahead. So sorry. So you do this here every year.
Yes.
Okay. So I remember having, I think last year, the same persons in studio discussing about the Caribbean wave. In fact, I think there was a demonstration, if I'm not mistaken, or usually there are demonstrations, right?
Yeah, yes. I don't recall the interview.
You weren't there that
I
time.
don't think I was there.
So are there going to be demonstrations again? Is that what we are expecting?
Yes.
Okay.
Caribbean Wave, normally we try and do a physical evacuation of our play area. The play area being the area that we will be conducting the exercise in for the year.
Mm-hmm.
So we try and do that every year. I think the only year that we didn't do that was during 2020 when everything went virtual, and so we actually did a tabletop that year. But other than that, it's always been a physical evacuation exercise.
Okay, well, awesome. And could you tell us about this year's activity as it relates to, the evacuation exercise?
Okay, I am Superintendent David, and like I said, I am for the Tsunami Warning Focal Point. And some may want to know, what is the Tsunami Warning Focal Point? It's basically a 24/7 operating unit, of the government. And, currently the Royal St. Kitts and Nevis Police Force is one of such organizations as the Hospital, Fire and Defense Force, who runs around the clock.
Yes.
So our telecommunication department designated as the Tsunami Warning Focal Point. And the focal point, what it does, it receives the messages from the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center, which is in Hawaii. And once we receive the message, it is analyzed to ensure that, one, we are not in danger, and two, if we are in danger, to inform the relevant persons so that the appropriate courses of action can be taken to save lives. In terms of someone may say, well, why lives? But when a tsunami comes, only lives you can save, destruction will occur. So that's the purpose of the Tsunami Warning Focal Point. And some of the areas that will be involved, that we have to call first, we have to call NEMA, we have to call Navy's Disaster Management Department, and then from there we have the police, we have the fire. NEMA will contact the Honorable Prime Minister. The Disaster Department in Nevis will contact the Honorable Premier, just in case of an eventuality, so that at least the various actions can be taken.
Yeah. As you said, if such occurs, there is going to be destruction of property. You want to make sure that you have safety of lives.
Yes, indeed.
Wow. So how is the fire services involved? We see from the police standpoint, the fire services, how are you guys involved as well? Of course, we know we could, but we want you to tell us.
Well, as the name suggests, within the fire and rescue services, so rescuing is a part of what we do. But prior to doing rescuing, we have an obligation to the citizens to alert them as well. So in addition to the various alerts that Ms. Superintendent David would have alluded to, the different phone companies, Flow, Digicel, they would be sending out messages to persons via their mobile devices. The cable as well, they would also share this information via their medium, of course. So fire department, we would go out and physically alert persons. So persons who may not have been paying attention to their phone, watching the television, or whatever means of messaging out to them, we are going to announce it physically to them. So our role and responsibility then is to drive throughout the community, sounding an alert to persons, encouraging them to get to higher ground, get to safety, etc.
Oh, wow, that sounds commendable because, and I mean, it sounds very, very good. But I think in the heart of this disaster, if it were to come, I think that really takes some really, what I want to say, that takes some real sacrifice in the sense that instead of looking to ensure that you yourselves, evacuate to a higher ground, you now going around to ensure that others are aware. You understand? So that is
Azard, that is what we do on a daily basis. Yes. When persons are running away from fire, we are going in to solve that. So it's part and parcel of what we do.
Yes. And we thank you for the work that you do.
Mm-hmm. No, to add to that, that's exactly why we do the exercise, so that not only the citizens, residents, and sometimes visitors are prepared if they would have to evacuate. But we also gauge how fire rescue services as well as police response, because what we do is we look to see, they would have, so we tell them, you have a half an hour before impact, for example. So what we want to see from them is that after they would have alerted the public in an amount of time, that after that they themselves evacuate, because of course, one of the things I think they do in training is they always, preach that they have to look at their lives as well.
Yes.
And so practicing and having this evacuation exercise is a good way for them to remember that the eventuality, after you don't warn the public after a certain time, then you yourself need to evacuate.
Exactly.
And in support of what the deputy coordinator, Mr. Spetty, just said, is that the other two critical units also we have to bear in mind. Let us assume the police and fire are overwhelmed in terms of the alertness, because the police will also be out. We'll have the services of the defense force. Now, when it comes to the sea now, vessels might be in port, the Coast Guard, once the water is such, because most of the time, initially the water will be safe, but afterwards, it could be, if we have a vessel in port, they may have to go out in the ocean. So Coast Guard can assist us with that if we may not be able to communicate with them by whatever communication means, but they can go, and other persons in the Bastia area and Charlestown area take those vessels out to sea. Because further in deep water, you wouldn't really see the wave, feel it much, but, And what I would like to say as well for our listening audience and for you, Azard, is that we look at there are three types of tsunamis. We have the distant. That means, say, one happened off the coast of Africa. Coming across that's open water. The ships may not feel it, but when they reach low land, when they reach shallow water, that's when you see it builds up. And then we have regional. So if it happens in the Caribbean, and then we have local, it happens in our water. So if it happens in our water, based on what is said from the scientists, just that shaking, severe shaking for close to a minute, could be enough to say, well, a tsunami is likely to be triggered. So that is our local alert, because we may not have any time. Just maybe after that, you might ask, wave comes.
Yeah.
With the regional, it may say, okay, in the next half an hour. So at least it gives us some time to do the warning and then evacuate. The regional one, the wave may come, but it may not have any impact. Because of the distance you may have to travel. And for the listening audience, I know sometimes people confuse a tsunami with a tidal wave, but we have to say how they call it. A tsunami basically is movement of the earth there. So you have an earthquake. You also kind of have a underwater volcano erupted, a land slippage under the water. But tidal wave, when you have strong winds like in hurricanes, storm surges.
And I think the information that you shared just now is very crucial. It's very important because, it gets to give persons the perspective as to what could happen, because it's always good to prepare. Preparation is key. But when if that moment ever comes, sometimes even in the panic, you just have to go. And so the alert, even if it is that the fire officers haven't reached yet or the police officer haven't reached yet in terms of sounding the alarm, even when you feel that vibration that you speak of, that's automatic. Try to get out of here and go to a higher ground. Yes. And I've seen some of the signs around the country. You know, I see one in Old Road that says, you know, the Wingfield Mountain. Yes. So I see that, and you know, persons run up there, and I guess it's higher. The further the better. Yes. In terms of from the coast. Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that you've seen the signs.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing as well.
Up to yesterday, I saw it. I said, you know, and my mind came to it. I said, boy, if anything, then that's the route that persons will have to travel. I don't know if I've seen it in other areas. Maybe I'm sure there are other areas, but I really noticed it.
Something else I want to mention too. Another warning, another natural warning, and this is for beachgoers.
Yeah.
I remember in the Indonesian earthquake, tsunami, there were beachgoers, and they see a phenomenon happen. The water receded, fish there, and everybody went to see what was going on. And all of a sudden, the wave just come crashing back through. And based on what the science is saying, it travels faster than a jet plane.
Wow.
So imagine how fast those waves, so you really can't outrun it. And that volume of water, I remember they showed us a picture where this tall coconut tree was covered by water. So it shows that this natural phenomenon is devastating. And all we can do is just ensure that we save as much lives as possible. And if we can build a retaining wall in some areas, which will be hard because there's one I will expose to type in Japan tsunami. That's a famous one I like. There's this big wall and you see water just coming over. People get trapped in traffic, so I believe maybe Ms. Petty may touch on that about how do we evacuate? How do we do that? Because it's critical that our population know how do we evacuate to reach safely to the zone and make others reach as well.
Spetty?
Okay, well, I guess Superintendent has prompted me,
yes.
so now I must respond. So we encourage persons to walk briskly, run, not necessarily run, but more like walk briskly, because you run, you might fall.
Yes.
To their safe zones, their assembly points, and the reason being is, could you imagine Friday at 4, any day at 4, how congested the traffic is in Bastia and other areas, because it's not just Bastia, no.
Or 12 midday.
Yes, could you imagine if you're trying to save your life and you only have a limited time to do that, and everybody decide, let's jump in with vehicle and just go up to the assembly point. Nobody would reach in time. So that is why we say you won't be able to drive. The only persons that the first responders would allow to drive would be pregnant women, persons carrying young ones who are not physically able to walk as yet, the differently abled, especially those with physical impediments, as well as the elderly, because we understand that their physical capability is limited. And so we make provisions for that when we are doing our standard operating procedures. But everybody else, you have to walk.
Wow. I think about it, right? Because we say this and we say that, and in the moment of difficulty, and it really makes sense that what you're saying, but it would be, for the person who will be ensuring that this happens, really and truly, because there are going to be persons who listen to all the advice and say, I don't care, I using my vehicle, I go in. You understand? So for persons who really, for that individual who really regulates and say, hey, you can't do that, you have to come out. In a situation where time is of the essence, we would hope that persons adhere to their advice.
We would hope so, because they choosing to practice their ignorance, it would actually may cost the life of themselves and others.
Yes, we have a call. Caller, you're live on Fireproof Identity. Caller?
Hello, Azard.
Yes.
Azard. If this is the tsunami, hello?
Yes, Carib Wave.
Oh, it's separate to NEMA. Everybody collaborating this time.
Nemo is a part of it as well.
Yeah, but I don't like the makeup. The makeup should have been the director Nemo. Deal with you all.
We have the deputy coordinator of NEMA here with us.
Hi.
No. The big man should have been there. Come on, how are you going to get people take this thing serious? Remember, he input the last time was so great. I talked to him to just build on it more. Now, when I do things right, have a good day.
You want to respond, Miss Petty?
Maybe I'll just say that at NEMA we have dual roles. We always, because we practice disaster risk reduction. In disaster risk reduction, we always practice having alternates. And I'm being the deputy, I'm the alternate to Mr. Samuel, who is the director for NEMA. In fact, I'm actually the exercise controller for Caribbean Wave. I have been the exercise controller for Caribbean Wave since I've been at NEMA, and I've been at NEMA for 5 years now. The only time I was not the exercise controller when I was on maternity leave last year, when you didn't see me. And so I'm not tooting my own horn, but I think that we
You're
do
well
the
equipped
exercise
and to advise,
justice based on experience, and of course I have my, my supporting team here with me, Timothy and Superintendent David.
Yes.
So I think we do it justice.
Yes. Thank you. We have another caller calling you live.
Hi. So you all just gave me a new nightmare, you know what I mean? Because I always heard about Kikam Jenny, and if she erupts, we have about 20 minutes. I remember doing a disaster preparedness course with Mr. what's his name, many years ago. He ran in politics, I can't remember his name, Glenroy Blanchard. And he had said we had 20 minutes from if Kikam Jenny erupts for a tsunami to hit St. Kitts, if it creates a tsunami. But no, I just heard you all say that one can happen just offshore. You don't know how much time I spend in the sea. That is like, that's scary. Like, how many minutes do you have?
Not much.
If the sea recedes, you must leave. If the sea recedes, you must. If the sea recedes, you must leave.
I think I'm gonna make that the new motto.
You understand? Yes.
I don't dream how many times that I see a tsunami when I at the beach. I just like, you all just gave me. I never thought about one happening just offshore. Like that's no time.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, it really is no time. Miss Petty, you want to go on?
That's why it's important to know the signs, the warning signs of a tsunami, because what I say to people is this. We are the agency responsible for warning the public. However, we always like to ensure that persons know the warning signs, because if you know the warning signs, will you wait until you get word from us that you should evacuate? And so the warning signs of a tsunami, a good thing to remember is feel, see, hear, run. If you feel a strong shaking, and a strong shaking don't mean the little tremors that we get now and again. I mean a really strong shaking that really knock down things. You can't remain standing. You see damages to infrastructure. That is one of the signs of a tsunami. If you see the sea receding, and as the caller just said, she's always at the beach, so she should actually be one of the first alerters, because if she realizes, wait there, the toy it going out is not, this is not normal, then she should know something is wrong, and instead of staying there, then she should immediately evacuate. What you said just now?
If you see the sea recede, leave.
So if you see the sea recede, leave. Yes. So that's sea and here. So when the water is coming back now, it comes back with a roar.
Yeah.
Of course, we wouldn't want you to be on the beach when it's coming back with that roar. We would hope that you're already evacuated.
Yeah.
But if you hear this roaring sound, that's another sign. And so run would be the action.
Yes.
Or walk briskly if you can. So you go to higher ground or further inland if higher ground is not the best geographically area available to you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really, and if you put that in context, let's say you're at Frigate Bay. Wow. you really don't have enough time.
Timothy Hill.
Timothy Hill.
Timothy Hill, yes.
You're right.
And in some areas, because of the shape of the land, they have the skyscrapers, so they will always say, just go elevator.
Yeah.
However, though, for St. Kitts and Nevis, I think we have to do something on that because some of the buildings are old.
Yeah.
The water table is high in Bastia, so you really do not know if it could be the foundation could be waterlogged then, because with the same example with the Japan tsunami, you see a tall building washing away. So that is something we have to look. But for the people in Bastia,
are not built for that. That's something that we have to remember. Our buildings were not built to withstand a tsunami. The tall buildings were not built to withstand a tsunami. So even if you think that you must be safe going to the roof, it is not built for that.
Yeah.
Oh, so the date for Carib Wave, when is it the demonstration going to be
Okay,
done?
so this year Caribbean Wave would be next week Thursday, and that is the 21st of March. Each year we look at the vulnerable areas in St. Kitts based on our Indonesian maps, and we decide based on that which community we haven't tested as yet. Because if you realize in the past, we always do a different area. Last year we did downtown Bastia. The year we did Frigate Bay. We had one time we did Old Road in the night because we decided tsunami don't have an 8 to 4. Let's do it in the night and see how it goes. And so this year we decided to do Diep Bay. And so, Diep Bay to Lynches with some institutions in Saddlers would be our play area.
Okay. Yeah, and really and truly, you think about it, and if such was to happen, God forbid, right? Bastia is the place not to be.
Well,
place not to
I
be.
just wanted to mention about Bastia.
Yes.
Once you reach above the airport in Bastia area, and you want to continue to go up, based on what our maps are showing, that's our safe zone there.
Okay.
We know Bastia below the
sea level.
Sea level. So
the airport area get at least by there.
But we have the we actually have the signs, about 2 signs on the bypass road indicating where.
You know what would be
area,
excellent?
But you can go further.
You know what would be excellent? A video documenting all of this, so persons could see. And it could be circulated, because a lot of things are circulated, and I think a video of really the access point, the evacuation points, and where all of them are, and even like something to map out where to go, when to go, closest points, something like that would be good.
Okay, so I'll take that consideration and I'll carry it back to our communication team. We always welcome new and innovative ideas.
No problem. We have to all save ourselves,
Of course.
We have to save ourselves.
Yes, the end goal is to save lives.
Yes. And we want to say thank you so much for being a part of the program today for your proof. I'm sure a lot of persons have been listening, taking the information, and hopefully using that information, even though, God forbid, it doesn't reach there, that something is done positively to ensure that we save ourselves. Yes. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you to all the persons who called in, all the persons who listened, all the persons who gave their opinions, and to you who are on the Facebook and all the other social media platforms. We say thank you. We want you to have a safe weekend and join us on Monday with another episode of Island Tea.
Okay.